I'm Todd Alexander. This is my wife, Susan Alexander.
Hi.
We came up with this idea. Okay, I came up with this idea, and she seconded it and surprised me because most of my ideas are bad ideas, and she
crazy ideas.
Yes, and she says no. So she didn't say no this time. So we came up with this plan to buy a travel trailer, an RV. We kept calling it, although now we know it's a travel trailer, not an RV, but whatever.
We were schooled.
And so we bought a travel trailer, and we were going to travel. And so when we came up with this idea, I have no idea what caused it. I was watching TV, and there wasn't an RV on TV or anything.
It was last summer when we were all quarantined, and we had nothing to do but stay at home. And
I might have just been sick of being in the house.
We were home for several months already.
And so, like most of America, we went out and bought a travel trailer. Or like most people, we bought an RV.
Yeah.
Or at least a lot of people lately have. And so, came up with this idea, and at first, I thought she wouldn't go for it.
Nope.
But
I said yes. My family camped since I was a little girl. I've been to camp forever. And the only way we went on vacations or went anywhere was in a 8-person pop-up tent or camper that my parents had, because my dad was a minister. We didn't have a lot of money, so we would go to my grandparents in Illinois or my grandparents in Virginia, and that was the only way we traveled.
Yeah, and I'd never been, actually even in a travel trailer, I don't think, in my life. I'd been in a pop-up maybe a couple times in yours because we borrowed it once, but for a fireworks event in Indianapolis a long time ago. But we just decided we're going to do this. We're going to, and then as the idea kept growing, we kept watching videos online, and we decided, you know what, we need to try out the northern United States and everything from the Grand Tetons north and all of these national parks. Now, we live in Ohio, so this is a long trip. So we're starting in Ohio and going to go up over the Upper Peninsula and Wisconsin, Green Bay, Wisconsin. My sisters, her brothers in Northfield, Minnesota, and west from there to the Badlands National Park, to Grand Tetons National Park, Yellowstone National Park.
Glacier.
Not obviously, like day after day after day, but I mean, we have some time built in here. And then
it's a 5-week.
Yeah, and then Glacier National Park, and then west of Seattle. There's a Harvest Host in there somewhere, but then we're west of Seattle to a park that's actually on the Pacific Ocean.
We thought if we're going to go all the way, we're going to go all the way.
Let's do it.
So let's go put our toes in the Pacific Ocean.
So we're going to Pacific, and then we're coming back, Mount Rainier and some other stuff down further south, and then back home to Ohio. So we came up with this idea, but we, having never traveled in a travel trailer before, decided that maybe we ought to try things out.
Yeah.
So we came up with this idea of let's do a smaller trip, a trip we're more familiar with.
Yeah, we call it the Shakedown Cruise.
Yeah, the Shakedown Cruise.
That's what Todd named it.
Yeah, and we're more, shaking down us than the equipment.
Yep.
The equipment works, we're just learning it.
The equipment is brand new.
So
we need to figure out how everything works.
How to operate things. Yep. So we came up with this Shakedown Cruise. We're going to go to the Great Smoky Mountains. We've been there many times. We love it. We went there for our honeymoon. We were there. I was there as a teenager. We went there for our honeymoon. We went there with the kids a couple times, friends a couple times. So we've been there a lot. Love it. We're like, let's go do this because we've done it before. We like it. So we went to the Great Smoky Mountains.
Yep.
Now, we have to introduce another family member, Buckley.
Our dog Buckley.
Buckley is a rescue dog. He's very attached to us, and he loves riding in the truck.
Yep.
So we kind of have an advantage there because, he loves being in the truck. We're like, this is
great.
This is great.
Yeah.
Everything seems to be working out. Part of the reason he loves the truck is because we take him for walks sometimes in the truck. So he gets to go to the trail that's nearby here and walks 4 miles and comes home, which he loves. It just gets his blood flowing, and he loves it. He is a hunting dog, kind of, and so I don't think he hunts very well, but he's that kind of breed. So he loves it. So we put him in the truck. We hooked up the trailer. We got everything, or at least everything we could think of.
Yeah, at the time. We made lists. Many lists.
Yeah, we've made lists since then of stuff that we forgot.
Yeah.
But
when we were there in the Smokies, we made a list of all the things we forgot.
Yes. So we're adding that stuff to the next trip. We'll keep you informed on how that goes.
Yep.
But we put the dog in the truck, hooked the trailer up, started out of the driveway. We live in Apple Valley in Ohio, and we started down the road, and
Buckley started barking. he looked behind him, and there was something following him very closely, and he couldn't figure out what it was, and it was the travel trailer.
It was a trailer. He was like warning us that there's a trailer
right
it's behind us. It's like, oh my gosh, you have to stop this.
Yeah.
And so he was freaked out by that, but enough treats in the truck and enough coaxing by Susan while I was trying to drive down the road, he got over it. Kind of got used to it and liked it eventually, or at least he liked being in the truck and put up with it. And then the real fun began as we headed south.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a 7.5, maybe 8-hour trip.
And what we learned was don't believe Google Maps when it comes to hauling a travel trailer.
Yes.
Now we've been told this
by many different
YouTube sites had warned us, and other people had told us, don't believe this. It's going to take longer. You're going to drive slower. Well, we drove slower not because it didn't handle well, not because we didn't have the right hookup or hitch or sway.
Because traffic was slow.
It was traffic. And in Ohio, 71 south out of Columbus, it had rained all day. It had been raining for like a week. And it had rained all day, thunderstorms, and there was a big accident. Yeah. We never got to see the accident.
No, I was navigating per usual, and I could see where all the accidents were and all the speed traps, and it said accident ahead.
Was it Apple that told us the speed traps? Was Apple that told us the speed traps?
2 hours and 55 minutes of a wait.
Yeah, so we waited in traffic on I-71 parked for about 90 minutes.
Yeah, it wasn't 2 hours and 55 minutes.
No,
it was still a long.
It was a long time. And eventually they cleared the accident or cleared whatever it was.
Yeah, we never saw it.
Never saw it.
Nope.
So when we got up there, we finally got past that, got to Kentucky and the welcome centers.
Yeah, awesome welcome centers, awesome rest areas in Kentucky. Couldn't say enough about it.
Yeah, there were the ones in Ohio were full. I think because of the accident, the trucks just loaded in there.
And the rain.
And the rain. And they were full, but we got to Kentucky. They were big enough. There was plenty of space. We got parked successfully. Got the dog out, and he got to pee, and everybody was happy, or at least happier. And
meanwhile, we're traveling, and we get to the Smoky Mountains.
We got to the Smokies
late. The dark.
It took 12. We figured 7.5 hours, like Google Maps told us. Yeah. And 12 hours later, we were pulling into a dark camp area, an RV park, and we were staying in an RV park because we could have full hookups. Yes. National parks do not have full hookups. They're lucky if they have electric or anything, but they definitely don't have full hookups, at least in the ones that we've seen. So we pulled in narrowest spot I've ever parked a trailer, and I drove a trailer for 9 years. When I was working in radio, we had a 26-foot. It was a giant radio.
It was a big boom
box.
It
was a boom box. It looked like a giant red boom box.
Behind a van.
We pulled behind a van, which, by the way, was the wrong tow vehicle, which I know now and didn't know then.
We're pulling it into the skinniest spots. It's dark, and we're trying to get between a cement pad and the water and the electric, and we did not realize we were too close to the pad.
We were too close to the pad because the steps couldn't come down all the way, and if the steps can't come down all the way, then the door of the Jayco that we bought doesn't shut. And so I rigged up the dog's leash around the bottom step.
We were like, we're not going to do this tonight. We're not going to fix it in the dark.
Oh my gosh.
We're fine. We plugged in.
And we were both over things by then.
Yes.
I mean, it was like we had almost kind of leveled things out, and the trailer was set. Yeah. I wasn't going to redo it. Yeah. It was pitch black in the mountains, in Great Smoky Mountains. It was just... I'm like, we're not fixing it tonight. So and
if we had thought about it, we could have. Our stairs have little extensions on the bottom of them. We could have taken those out, and then it would have been on the pad,
and it would have been fine.
But
didn't think about it. Yeah. Complete rookie mistake. Didn't know.
And this was the Shakedown Cruise. That's why we did this.
Now we know. So that was one of the things we learned. And then. I thought it was a small spot, and then the next morning we got up, and the people next to us, we readjusted the trailer.
Yep.
We readjusted the trailer, and we had to put the spout on the water down to put the slide out, and then put it back up, and I put a Post-it on the slide out. I'm like, do not put the slide out in until lowering the water, shutting the water off. But we got it in there, got everything set, and then the people next to us changed, and they had spent 2 or 2.5 weeks on the road
from
Oregon. Older couple, great people.
Yep.
And that's one of the great things about RVing. We've met some fabulous people.
Yep.
And so he was like, this is the narrowest spot we've been in since we've been RVing for years. And I was like, okay,
we didn't feel so bad.
Yeah, I felt a lot better that we had gotten in there. I mean, and that it only took me a couple of tries. So.
Yeah, but we got all set up and everything was good. We hooked up our water, our sewer, our electric.
And we know now. Check for making sure you have room for the slide out to come all the way out. Make sure that you've got room for your steps. Ours come out from the inside and lower down. Some just come off of the RV and come down. So
you can adjust.
You can adjust more than ours, but
now we know.
We know.
Yeah.
So in that sense, the trip was a success.
Yeah, it was a big success.
I was very happy.
We learned a lot.
Yeah.
We made a big list of things to take on the big trip.
Big list.
That we're leaving in 2 days for.
Things like marshmallow forks. We didn't even think of marshmallow
sticks.
You can't even make a s'more. We couldn't make a s'more.
We forgot the little vacuum, the chargeable vacuum that we bought specifically for the RV.
To get up dog hair.
Yeah. And we left it at home.
So
we made a list, of course, while we were there, of things that we needed to pack.
Yeah.
But it was a success, and some of the other successes in the park, in the national park, there are 2 dog-friendly trails. We've done all the. We've done.
We've done all the trails. I mean, over the years, we've done all the trails. We've done Laurel Falls. We did the chimney tops, Klingman's Dome. I mean, we've checked off the whole list and done that whole list before.
We want to do something dog friendly. We had our dog. We wanted to take a trail.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, he loves trails and is really good about walking with.
So the trail that we were able to go on with him is called the Gatlinburg Trail.
Yep.
And it starts at the Sugarland Visitor Center.
Starts behind the Sugarland Visitor Center, and it's kind of, I mean, if you look up the maps online or if you just stop and ask the rangers, they'll tell you how to get there. It looks like it's not a trail.
Right.
At first, I'm like,
you're walking through back behind the Sugarland Visitor Center, and then you're walking on the side of the road, and you have to go over a bridge. And we were like, this is not a trail. And this other couple was coming with the dog, and when they were like, if you just keep going, you'll get to the trail. So we did, and it was a great trail. So we were able to take this trail that was almost 2 miles one way.
So
we did about 4 miles. And it was great.
And it ran from the Sugarland Visitor Center all the way
to Gatlinburg.
Along the creek there, along the river there. It was a river at the time because it had been raining for a solid week down there too. It followed all along that trail, and then it ends up, you go past the Welcome to the Great Smoky Mountains sign where we got our picture taken. There was great people there. We met some people there, and then we got to go a little bit further. And then the trail basically ends in Gatlinburg, and there were people from some of the Gatlinburg hotels that were getting on the trail there, coming into the park, into the Sugarland Visitor Center from there. A lot of dogs.
Yeah. We also toured, we did the car tour of Cades Cove.
Yep.
Took us quite a long time because people kept stopping their cars. And I saw 5 there. Todd only saw 2, but
I only saw 2 because I was driving, and Buckley, the dog, was just so excited to see any sort of thing, and plus he kept barking at like the people that were stopping because I would go around them and he was barking at them. But it was a really enjoyable trip. It was an hour to get there, like 45 minutes to come back. But saw 5 bear along the way. Saw, oh my gosh, so many deer, geese. I mean, ducks. I mean, all kinds of stuff. Just a ridiculous amount of animals, which was great. I mean, that's why we drove it. That's why we went.
And the scenic views are amazing. I mean, we did stop and take some pictures along the way of the views. Other successes we had were, we went into Gatlinburg and we did a couple touristy things. We went to...
we were in the national parks, and I mean, there's kind of a separation between once you're in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, it's like this is Mother Nature's home, and then there's people's home, and the neon signs and the glitter and glam of Gatlinburg, which is at times a little bit cheesy, but I mean, but so much fun. First thing we did was and I think it helped her get me on the second thing, was the moonshine tour. We went to Old Smoky Moonshine Distillery, and we went to the one in Gatlinburg, and I totally recommend the one in Gatlinburg because you got to see the mash in these giant vats, and you could if you watched closely, they were bubbling, and you had to watch closely because you were looking through a screen.
It was very close.
Very close. It was the only thing separating you from the mash, and there was a band playing behind us, and
then we went inside and did a tasting. We got to taste 7 different
types of moonshine, up to. and not including the White Lightning, which is 153 proof, but the regular White Lightning, not the special one, not the special edition. But came out of there with three different flavors of moonshine. Loved that. Then we went
Skylift Park.
Skylift Park.
Yeah.
Love the moonshine thing. I'm not anybody that's flown with me in an airplane knows I'm not a heights person. I'll do them, but I'm not crazy about them. She got me on the Skylift. The Skylift, it looked smaller from the ground. But if you've been on the incline in Pittsburgh, my whole family's from Pittsburgh, so if you've been on the incline in Pittsburgh, it's like 3, maybe 4 inclines up a mountain. Out of the city of Gatlinburg and up a neighboring a mountain right there. Yeah. So I'm scared to death the whole way up because I don't like going on the Ohio State Fair ride that is a thing that they lock you in that takes you across from one end of the fair to the other.
This didn't even lock you in. There was a bar that came over us, but it didn't really lock.
No, it didn't lock. The guy was like, "Here, hey, pull the bar over." So I'm like, "You mean this?" And it's like this flimsy little thing. I'm like, "This aluminum thing, and that's all that's going to separate me from falling down the mountain."
Well, we got all the way up the mountain. He was fine.
Todd gripping the handle, but I made it.
And then there was a bridge between 2 mountains.
That's when we got to the top, and I'm like, "Ooh, look!"
Yeah, the view was amazing.
It was like a rope bridge, but it was obviously steel cable. But that's the part I was scared on the lift going up.
Yeah.
Susan was scared on that part because when you got to the middle, and we didn't know this.
Yeah.
When you got to the middle, maybe 20 feet, 25 feet of the middle of this bridge is glass. So you're walking across. You can see the drop down into down the mountain.
And I'm sure it's very safe. I'm sure it's very thick. However, you could see
the look on her face was worth the price of admission.
She said, "Turn around so I can take a picture," and I went.
Yeah,
and then I turned around and headed towards the other side.
Yes, if you know our son Seth, it was a Seth Michael Alexander look of face of I'm enjoying this because you're telling me to enjoy this. That was not a. She was not enjoying that part.
No, so we walked across.
We got some refreshments over there. Loved the view, and you could see. You could see the rain in the mountains there. Yeah. You could see all.
There's a big map that shows you where all the peaks are up there, so you can look.
You could have seen all the way to Clingman's Dome had it not been thunderstorming on the next range over.
And we did not get rained out the whole weekend. We thought we were going to, but the rain held off most days.
Yeah, it was
very nice.
A ton of rain in the area,
it was humid. It was humid, but
but everything. Knock on wood. I mean, everything here worked. Everything, and it's a brand new trailer. I mean, I kind of expected it to, but the trailer worked, the truck worked. I was comfortable driving it. I was a little too comfortable at times. It was going too fast, and so we, and came up with a flag system that we'll talk about next time.
Yeah. The only thing that went wrong was we hurried to get out of the RV park because there was a trolley from Pigeon Forge that comes into the RV park to pick people up if they want to go into Pigeon Forge and not drive.
Yep.
And Todd was in a hurry to get out of the guy's way.
And I shouldn't have hurried. I mean, it was a trolley car. I'm sure he was going to wait because they were taking people in for dinners and stuff, and for breakfast and stuff. But I hurried up, and I didn't do a full walk around and really check the vehicle and check that I'd hooked everything up correctly. But I mean, after he went by, I did a quick walk around and was like, no, I've got everything. Yeah, we're good.
Let's go.
So we drove off, and we stopped at a rest area later and realized I always have a lock that I put on between the trailer and on the hitch between the trailer and the hitch on the truck, and I just hadn't put it on this time.
Right, so it fell off someplace.
Right. I mean, I had set it down on the back of the truck, I think, on the bumper, and I'm sure it's somewhere on the road in Kentucky or Tennessee somewhere. So I think that was the only thing, and that was because I hurried.
Yeah. And every single video we've watched, every YouTube, everybody says slow down, don't hurry. So we are taking that into consideration as we take our our trip.
Yeah, as we launch. Yeah, we launch out. So we've already done the Great Smoky Mountains trip. I hope you enjoyed the pictures of it, the footage of it. But now we're on to the big one. This one is over 8,000 miles according to Google Maps. It is up over the Upper Peninsula, Minnesota, or Wisconsin, Minnesota, and then to the Badlands and Grand Tetons, and.
But we'll get into that more with each video.
We'll cover them all.
Yeah.
At least all the ones we get a chance to visit,
yeah.
and hopefully
we
leave July 1st. And theoretically, we're back August 5th, 6th, somewhere in there. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll go well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're excited. Yep.
So we'll see you out on the road, hopefully.
Yep.
Okay.
We're up for another Alexander
Family adventure. So see you soon.
Bye.